This is the only defense you should be using versus the Bunch X Nasty meta in Madden 26, as it takes away all of the most common combos players like to use. So in this video, I'll be breaking down exactly how I use this secret match coverage in a competitive Madden match versus Bugatti Bugs, a longtime pro player who runs one of the best versions of this offense. As usual, this match took place on 1v1me.com, where over $5,000 was staked, and I was a big underdog. All right, boys, we got a good one in store for you today, going over the secrets of my match coverage and pretty much my double mug against Bunch X Nasty. So let's get right into it. Right now, Bugs in that ever so infamous Bunch X Nasty formation. And on the first play, we are actually running a send to coverage. This is something we're going to be using pretty much throughout the game as well. And the way that it works is we shade our defense to the outside, and then we have this inside third. So if they use the pass lead streak technique, they're going to throw a pick to the inside third. And if they try to pass lead outside, they're going to throw a pick to our defensive backs. The only problem here is I made a mistake. I have this player, this slot corner should be manned up to the tight end, and this safety should be manned up to R1. The reason being is the slot corner is usually not your fastest player when you set up your personnel for a defense like this, and it kind of opens you up to some problems. So first play of the game, you're actually going to see that Deron Bland gets cooked by Nico Collins, a 4-speed advantage, and he's not in the best position. He just ends up getting cooked, right? And I know this is defensive video, but I'm not going to hide his touchdowns, of course. He had a good play there. We just made a mistake on our coverage. We had everything set up almost perfect, but one more adjustment would have been a cage. Now, right here, we had a chance to redeem ourselves, and we went to the match shell that I believe is the best in the game. The way to set it up is you man up this player on the tight end, and you man up the strong side safety on the bunch to the point man, right? And you want this player to be fast. You don't want to get bombed. Fast. There you go. I wrote it down with the marker. You need him to be fast, or you're going to end up getting bombed just like you did, or just like I did with the slot corner. Now, on this side, you're running cover 4 quarters match, and on this side, you're running cover 4 quarters match. So if they run the most common Bunch X Nasty combos that they use, like for example, streak, slot fade, corner, running back crab, this will cover the corner, this will match the crab, right? And then if they run streak, crosser, return, you're actually going to notice that the crosser is manned up and completely covered. And then the tight end in this case is covered. The streak is covered. The table, we actually D-pad switch to the quarter flat every play to go guard the table. So that's covered. And if it wasn't a table, so let's say they ran this, you're going to actually see that the outside quarter will come down and play it. So it really is an all-encompassing match shell, and it really does take away almost everything they can throw at you. So let's actually go through it step by step and route combo. In this case, he runs streak, slot fade, corner, backside return. Exactly like I said, very common combo. And this is covered completely. He gets 0 yards. He actually loses a yard because the quarter flat drops down and goes and plays it, right? And that's why this match shell is so good. It's almost one that you could run every play. You do want to mix it up a little bit, but you can run it quite a lot. So in this next play, 2nd and 11, we're running it again, right? We had success on it the first time. We're going to run it again. D-pad switch here. We're on the running back. But we do get outran just a little bit. I over pursued with my user. He can throw it, but instead he ends up just chucking it up. He doesn't really have a step. You could see I actually have the step here. See, I have the step here. And he probably thinks he should have had a touchdown, but I'm all over it. You could see, even if he had been there, that's an easy just tackle and he would be cooked, right? So 3rd and 11, after pretty much just chucking up a prayer there, now we are going to run. I think we run our match shell again. Actually, this is when we go to a better version of the send to that we had before. If you like competitive Madden and want to make real money predicting matches, then look no further than 1v1me. Because not only can you watch live games, but you can stake on game outcome with lots of options, including flash stakes, game spreads, and point totals. There's always action on the app. Check it out at 1v1.me/Swolosimo or use code Swolosimo on sign up for a $25 no sweat stake. As you can see, I rectify my mistake, right? Or nullify it in this way you'll see the result of this play. The slot corner is manned up to the tight end, so it doesn't matter if the tight end is fast. The slot corner will be faster in 90% of regs games and definitely good enough in MUT. And then the safety's manned up to R1. We're shaded outside so they can't pass lead streak us. We have the inside third so they can't pass lead to the inside. and it's overall a really good shell. And if they try to beat you, you have the one hook in the middle, you're sending two off the right, so if they try to roll out left with their quarterback, they're going to run into the spy that we could send, so this player, we could just send him, and then you have two flats on the field. And the only thing that we do is we D-pad switch instantly to this linebacker. And what I mean by D-pad switching, in case you guys aren't aware, is on a controller, I don't have one on me right now, if you press the D-pad, what ends up happening is it allows you to switch stick really early into the play, and it's also just really precise. Now in this case, because my player's on his own, I could just regular switch stick with the right stick, but I like to do it with the D-pad. It's pretty much instant and it's very consistent. So I'm instantly going to switch onto this player. So take a look here on the result of this play. He's going to run a very common bunch X nasty combo, right? He's got the post, the drag, the streak, he's got a wheel, and then I believe this is a slot fade, and we're all over this wheel. Everything on this play is completely covered, except this post. Now I could switch to this inside third and pull down, but my user is actually close enough to the post where I can just go there. And I go there and I pick it, right? And that's the first turnover of the game that we get because we have a great bunch X nasty match shell on top of elite send to coverage. Now this is Bugs' third drive, and we're back on defense running that same match shell that we talked about before. And you can see it's doing a great job. Everything's caged. But there's one more thing that someone could do against this match shell, and that's put a slot fade on their solo receiver. And since you're shaded to the outside, they can pass lead it to the inside. And that's exactly what Bugs does here. You're going to see he pass leads this way to the inside, and we're not even close to it, right? Tank Dell didn't have a significant speed advantage on bridges there. I think it's a 2-speed. And even that, because he has so much leverage to the inside, he's able to just pass it inside and get a one-place score. After half, Bugs got ball, and we're back in the match shell, but we're not going to make the same mistakes that we did before. We've gotten beat with strictly speed. That is, when we were running man coverage, what ended up happening was this player was manned up here, he got a touchdown, and then we also got beaten by leverage. That is, the slot fade here ended up being open with a pass lead to the inside. So we're going to end up modifying our match shell here and there and just being aware of these things, right? And you can see, I notice immediately this player steps out, it's a slot fade, I'm going to cover it, but then it ends up just being a return. So he actually can throw this return here, our hook ends up kind of coming down, our user also comes down, everything's covered. Literally everything, but we get bumped. We bumped into this player, so he ends up being able to throw this return for a solid gain, right? Actually a first down. More than a solid gain. Now, we've been playing pretty much all coverage so far, but I want you guys to notice the one enhancement that we're making here, right? And that enhancement is we're actually running a base cover 3 to make sure. So right here, you're going to see this is just a cover 3 because we added a hard flat. There's no match on this side of the field, but we have the match on the left. So if he tries to run this slot fade combo, we don't have to worry about it. We don't have to switch it. Our only goal here as this hard flat is to make sure he can't throw his running back on a table and you pass off any routes to their man coverage. So kind of sit in this area and guard two things at once. And that's really it. That's really all you have to do from there. You're going to notice that I switch here, switch back here. But unfortunately, since we're not in match, this in route doesn't get matched, and he's able to throw it just for an easy gain over the middle. Really, really unfortunate, but those are the types of little mini chess matches you have to play on Madden. Now, we've been playing coverage thus far pretty much throughout the game. It was time to dial up some heat, and in this case, we are in a cover 0 shell with two flats. So we have a hard flat here, we man up the safety to the solo, we have a hard flat here. We man up the slot corner to the tight end and the safety to the point man, right? It's a very simple coverage shell. But the benefit here is if he sends 5 out, we're going to scream off the edge. And if he untargets our user, we're going to scream in through this gap here. And what you're going to notice is that's exactly what happens. We end up screaming off the edge. If he tried to throw his running back, we were there because we were spamming that X button, which allows us to pull off the block. And that's it. That's pretty much it right there. So this is when I can start to really mix in the blitz. He has to respect it. And if I blitz my user in D-pad switch, he also has to respect that. So in this case, what are we calling? We are going back to the send to man coverage. We have the flat on each side of the field. We're shaded outside, and we have this inside third. Overall, just a really simple shell, and it ends up doing really good. Now right there, we didn't D-pad switch fast enough. We didn't commit to the table, and he ends up getting a really big gain because of that, right? That's something we just can't have happen. 1st and 10, this is when it gets pretty safe to run the match shell. Because even if he tries to throw the slot fade, he just really won't have the room very close to the red zone. And then pretty much if he tries to throw a streak here, he also just doesn't have the room. So it's really safe for us to just run this match shell. Now, in this case, we keep the hard flat and the man ups just because we want to make sure that this player on an in route, even if we're running match, doesn't just immediately fry us like it did on that previous down. But we're staying on top of things, right? We're on this table, we're on the return, everything is completely bagged here, and you see he rolls out and throws nothing, right? That's the benefit. This match shell really does take away that bread and butter of Bunch X Nasty. Now at this point, we have him thinking, okay, coverage, coverage, coverage. It's time to dial up a blitz. I think 2nd and 10 is such a good time to dial up a blitz. A lot of people love blitzing on 3rd down, 4th down. That's great. But I think 2nd down is the best time to blitz because the benefit is so huge. If you blitz them and they throw the ball away, it's 3rd and 10, 3rd and long. If you sack them, it's 3rd and very long, right? And that's when you can really dial up the coverage on those key downs. So I love the blitz call here on 2nd and 10. And what you're going to see here is we engage and he untargets the other player. And what you're going to see is we get 2 players coming in clean. He has to instantly throw the ball away, and he ends up on that 3rd and 10. And on this 3rd and 10, we dial up send to coverage. Once again, we have the 2 flats. We have the inside 3rd. Very basic coverage. We're going to D-pad switch this hard flat instantly, and it's just good all around. Chances are everything's going to be bagged. We're on the running back. But we click off to cover the... We're going to come down on the running back here and make sure that we're covering kind of 2 players at once. It was a good switch. And this player, since he's in a hard flat, is going to come down to go cover the tight end here. And he doesn't really expect that. He throws the tight end. We hit him, and it's a 4th and 10 now. So at this point, he has to make a decision. Does he want to deal with my insane match shell coverage, or send 2-man, or blitz, or kick a field goal? And he chooses to kick a field goal. We end up responding with a touchdown, so we could play pretty elite defense once again. We get that opportunity. So in this case, we're setting up our very basic match shell, but what we're doing here is we're making sure that he can't throw this slot fade. That's the big thing. We got to make sure that he can't throw the slot fade, and we do so by putting this player in an outside 3rd. So he's actually in an outside 3rd right now. He's not going to match, which we have to be aware of, but because he's an outside 3rd, we don't have to deal with that pass lead that Boogs has been throwing. And in this case, everything's covered. He goes to throw the return, and we stop him in his tracks. So 2nd and 9 early. And what do we go to on this 2nd and 9 but a blitz? Another great 2nd down blitz call. We have everything manned up. We even swapped the slot corner man and the safety man coverage. We made sure that those are flipped. The flats are immediately taken away, so that's a big one. It's not like he could just instantly throw a flat. And you're going to see this blitz will come in pretty clean. Now, in this case, he untargets our user. So we notice our user got chucked, so he had just enough time to go and throw the football. And you're going to see, despite us being right on Nico Collins, he just holds on to the ball, right? Granted, I can't expect, I think it's Goodwin. Goodwin's like a 60 overall DB. Very fast, very tall, but he won't always knock the ball out. So 1st and 10, we are in send to man coverage. When people are hurrying up, I think the biggest thing is getting them out of rhythm. So Boogs had just hurried up on this play. And when you get someone out of rhythm, all you really have to do is make them throw the ball away again, right? Just slow down their progressions. If you're constantly blitzing, you're constantly just playing send 4, they're just gonna, okay, dot, hurry up, dot. As soon as you send 2, you're pretty much giving it a 70% chance of an incompletion, really slowing down their rhythm. I think that's a really big thing that is really important just to use online. And that's what I do. I send 2 here, and everything's pretty well covered. We should be closer to this in route than we are, right? I think if we pulled up, we could have maybe got a pick, but he just chucks up a streak again. And we're all over it. I'm hitting the swap button on 2 players. You feel like maybe I could pick this even, but somehow, some way, he almost gets it. I feel like if it was more accurate, like actually closer to him, we could have gotten an interception, right? I will admit that. He has been chucking up these streaks over and over again, but because even though Nico is 1 speed faster than our safeties, the benefit is that our safeties are backed off, right? So we have that extra time to catch up. And in this case, we're just in a cover 3. We are not trying to overcomplicate things here. We are in a cover 3 defense on the left and a cover 2 on the weak side, the solo. And everything's actually pretty solid here. We're sprinting to cover the return. This is guarded. We're going to switch to this hook zone. We missed the hook zone, unfortunately. He goes to throw it, but our pass rush gets there. We double switch to the safety to come down. I actually think if he had thrown it, it would have maybe been an interception. So take a look here. He's throwing the crosser, switch here, and then I switched up again. You can see I'm switching here. I feel like we could have come down and played that crosser and intercepted it possibly, but who knows? 3rd and 10. He probably thinks that crosser's open and he's probably going to try it again. So on this play, we're in our match shell and he calls a match beater. But because we're not actually in match, we have, once again, if you guys remember, man up, and then match is over here. We don't actually have to worry about these match beaters, right? This player is going to go play this streak. So he actually calls a pretty bad play for what I'm running. We're on the running back. This player is very well covered. And if he goes to throw it, it should be incomplete. He gets the worst animation, right? I'll be honest, it's not a good animation. He's trying to cut it off. And my guy just doesn't react. Chris Goodwin just doesn't react. So our match shell did its job, but our player just doesn't react and he gets a major first down. So on this next play, I'm pretty frustrated. So I'm actually dialing up a blitz. You're actually gonna notice I am blitzing all of these players here. I'm overloading the right of screen with a cover 3 on the left and a cover 2 on the right. And I'm going to instantly D-pad switch here, try to lurk over the middle, right? Lurk in this area. And then if I notice the corner's open, I'm going to switch to him and then switch to him to come down to the corner, right? If he is running a corner play here. I know he is because, well, I've watched the game. Switch, and then I switch again to go guard the corner. Might have been open, might not have been open, but the pressure does get there. That's the benefit of sending that overload heat. So on this key 2nd and 10, we go back to match on the left and cover 3 on the right. And this seems like a good decision, except when they have a drag on this backside, because you not only have to pull your entire player's momentum, but you also have to keep in mind that before you switched on to them, he was a hard flat. So everything is pushing the player that you just D-pad switched to this side, and you have to go cover a drag, right? So it ends up being a problem a lot, right? But in this case, we do kind of make up ground. He throws it into coverage. We absolutely should be picking it because we matched his short corner in this case, and instead, we get an incompletion. Sometimes you got to accept an incompletion. It's better than getting egged, like we did before. It's better than getting egged. Once again, you see the match shell. It's just on top of him right now. Like he really has no answers for it. So what do we go back to here? Send to. I love the send to. I really do. Because in this case, we are shaded to the outside, so we can't pass lead to the inside, or a pass lead to streak to the inside, I should specify. We swapped our man, so we can't just chuck a streak. And all we need to do here is just lurk over the middle, and we're going to D-pad switch to this hard flat. It's really simple stuff, right? And all I'm going to do here is D-pad switch to the hard flat once he snaps the ball. We're on the running back, we're on the drag, but unfortunately, the in-route fries. I tried to switch to Clowney. Clowney had maybe lurk artist, maybe he would have jumped it, but this is Regs. The in-route ends up being a really big gain, and then he speed bursts. So we end up giving up that touchdown, unfortunately. Now you're probably like, why am I showing an onside? Well, Boogs actually gets the onside, right? So we were up, 2 possessions, and he ends up getting the onside, putting himself right back in the game in a great spot to clock and get 7. But we have great defense, and we've established that, so I feel good about this. I feel like we're going to get a stop. But you notice something that everyone is guilty of. First play, I'm blitzing. I'm mad. I just got onsided. I'm blitzing him, right? And we just have a very simple cover 3 on the right, cover 2 on the left, right? And that's all we're doing. We're overloading the absolute max out of the left side of the field. So he's setting something up. He untargets this player. You can see he's getting bumped. When he gets bumped like that, it means they're untargeting him. And you're going to see that, well, on this play, the table's open, but we end up actually sticking on the tight end. So this is something that's pretty unique that I like to mention just in general about vert hooks, right? And if I go back here, let's go back here. A vert hook will actually match the number 3 receiver quite a lot, pretty much always, right? If you don't have zone drops on. And what you're going to see is the tight end goes on a slant, and I'm switching to kind of play it initially, but then I'm off. I click off, but he still sticks on to him because he still has some matching responsibilities. So it's almost like he's manned up to the tight end. And we still get the benefit of switching on to him like he's a zone. So he goes to chuck either the return here or the in. Both are open, but we did send a lot of heat at him, and the player that he untargeted comes in. So he hits the return, though, almost made that an incompletion, and he gets himself about 5 to 6 yards. On 2nd and 5, we're blitzing him again with 2 flats, trying to really just get him off the field. And if he does get a big play, it just means that we're probably going to be the last person with the ball in this game. So what you're going to see is we blitz him. It doesn't end up coming in. We're sprinting down to cover the running back. and he just hits that player there. It wasn't on a return, it was just on a drag. It was a good call because I was just in shaded outside man coverage. So he gets another first. Boogs is on the move. So you can probably tell he's clearly trying to clock us here. We kind of realized this, so we switched very quickly to mid blitz. And usually this will shoot the runs in Bunch X Nasty. This player is supposed to come in, but in this case, he does end up getting picked up. It does pixelate a little bit, so I want you guys to see it one more time. He does end up getting picked up, unfortunately for us. He audibles to that run. You can see that little microphone icon. But because we blitzed everyone, he kind of just ran into our furthest outside blitzer. 2nd and 9, what do we check into but our match shell? We're not too worried about a slot fade pass lead to the inside because, well, we're only at the 25-yard line. Man up him, man up the safety to the point man, and just trust your match coverage. And that's what I'm doing here. So we're going to D-pad switch to the quarter flat, make sure he can't instantly throw a table, snaps the ball with exactly 1 second. We actually cover the running back in, hits the drag, but he underthrows it just a little bit, and our player ends up catching up to the tight end and making it a 3rd and 3. I'm going to be honest, there's no better defense for these situations than either a heavy blitz or heavy coverage, not send 4. You want to send everybody or you want to send nobody. And in this case, we're sending everybody. He untargets our user here. You can see this player was untargeted. And instead of the right guard actually getting there and picking him up, he comes in completely clean. He has no time for anything. We're kind of all over every read on the field, but we scream at him. So he actually gets into a 4th and 3, and he has to respect the blitz. So what are we going to call? Well, you might guess it. We're in send 2 coverage, right? He has to respect the blitz. So we're in send 2 coverage. We have 2 flats, and then we have this deep zone. But to get even more aggressive, we can sometimes put this player in a hook curl. That's what I actually do here. We're not as worried about a pass lead streak to the inside. That's not something someone will look for on a 4th and 3. So we have 2 hooks, 2 flats, and we're shaded outside. At this point, this is one of the strongest coverages you can run in the game for simply getting that key down in completion. So we sent 2 off the left. We have a spy and a vert hook, or a spy and a hard flat on the right, making sure he can't throw that running back route. We're shaded outside, so we can't really get beat with corners. And if he pass leads to the inside, he's dealing with this hook curl, and he's dealing with this hook curl. So I'm really confident in this coverage at this point. You can see we're all over the Texas. The Texas is kind of open late, but the one problem is we have this hook curl. And if this is a crosser, he'd be throwing it at this hook curl. Our send 2 coverage, he kind of runs into him, and we get our stop, which is excellent. After getting our stop, we scored, and we were up 10 in this game with 1 minute and 40 seconds left. And with him kind of getting really aggressive, sometimes even our send 4 match coverage ended up coming in clean. Like right here, we're thinking the game is over. It's 2nd and 20. We just sacked him. It is, pretty much over at this point is what we're thinking. And in this case, we're actually calling our match shell with the cover 3. Very conservative. We're willing to give up. If he puts an in red on, we're willing to give that up at this point, right? If he throws it, okay, right? But we're on all of the stuff to the sidelines. And in this case, he just chucks a streak up into double coverage, I might add. And luckily, we swatted away, right? Should have been an interception, but nonetheless, we swatted away. 3rd and 20 for Boogs. Now, I will admit, I got a little aggressive on this 3rd and 20, and I actually ran a blitz. So we have a deep cloud on this side and a deep curl flat on this side. We're going to D-pad switch to this vert hook, and we're just trying to scream at him at this point. And somehow, some way, he picked up the blitz. And the somehow and the some way is he blocked the running back. And unfortunately, my deep half did not react to the left at all. And he's able to just somehow fit that slot fade in, even without a possession catch. So that was really unfortunate that we had to deal with that. He ends up converting a 3rd and 20. I wish I stemmed my flat zone up just one more time. On 1st and 10, we're back in that same conservative shell. We're willing to give up the easy stuff that's inbounds because of how much time is left. And you're going to see everything's pretty well covered, and he didn't have time for the Texas. I probably should have stuck on it a little bit better, but you can see the easy stuff is taken away. We're making him, chuck it deep, keep it in bounds. Now, in this case, we're actually running send 2 man coverage with the inside 3rd, but we ran into a big problem, and that's Nico Collins. I didn't commit with this safety far enough to the inside at this point. And because of that, he throws this streak, pushes our DB off. So he's actually just shoving him away. And because of that, you're going to see we don't get the swat from Marquise Bell or Goodwin. and he gets the catch and the touchdown. Luckily for us, however, we don't get, he does get the 2-point. What was the 2-point call here? This is one of my favorite defenses in general, is just cover 2, man up the biggest crosser threat, and then send 2, right? And what does he end up throwing? I'm actually very curious. In this case, everything looks covered. Yeah, it's manned up, and he just ends up getting a crazy possession catch for the 2-point. Luckily for us, he ends up kicking the onside, but we actually end up picking it up. And we get our first down, and we pretty much end the game from there. It was a great game to Boogs. We played elite defense pretty much throughout the game. It felt like he had no real answer for the Matt shell. He was kind of just moving down the field on broken coverages and things like that. So I have to say, if you're looking to stop Bunch X Nasty, mix in that Matt shell and mix in the adjustments that I use to make sure that they can't beat any of the counters, or they can't use any of the counters to the shell, right? It's a very simple shell, and if you ran it every down, I promise you'd beat 99% of Bunch X Nasty players. And if you're looking for another great video, maybe an offensive one, click this video right here. It's a great offensive video going over my trips X Nasty.